You know, sometimes I wish life were as simple as the internet says it is, whether it's Facebook or blogs, conservative sites, liberal sites, part of a conservative site that disagrees with other part of a conservative site, go on. I wish life were that simple. That there's a simple answer. We do this, and that's the only answer. But let me give you a modern, real crisis that there is not a simple answer to. And that's the country of Syria. Right now, we know that the president is considering what, if anything, should be done in response to what the president is saying was the Syrian government attack on rebels and innocent civilians with the use of sarin gas. The UN is looking into it. They're saying it was the Syrian government. Russia is saying it was the rebels. Others are saying it was the rebels. Britain is saying it was Syria. And we're hearing all kinds of simple solutions. We should have nothing to do with Syria. We should not get involved. Or, why aren't we there already? I'm going to break down this Syria issue for you for a minute because it is not a simple question. It is not a simple solution. And I would not want to be president to make this decision. There's a civil war going on in Syria. The Assad government, which is a Muslim dictator, secular but Muslim, there's uprising in Syria. There are groups that are extremist Muslims related to Al-Qaeda. There are groups who are more secular Muslims. There are all kinds of groups, and we don't even know all the groups, that are rising up against Assad and saying he's got to go. We, in America, at least the government says that that's a good thing. We don't want Assad there anymore. His people are wanting him out. And so there's been a raging civil war where hundreds of thousands of people are dead. Innocents, as well as soldiers for the Assad government and rebels fighting against the Assad government. Our country, for a long time, said we're not getting involved. We, militarily, where we're going to send humanitarian aid. We are going to urge the Assad government to step down. It's not happened. Unlike some of these other uprisings in the Arab Spring, this one's not going according to plan. The president said the red line is if chemical weapons were used. A few months back, there was evidence of chemical weapons used, although it couldn't be certified which side did it. We didn't do anything. Now that happened again. It's pretty clear. The sides are arguing over who did them, but chemical weapons were used. Now, I'm not sure why the use of killing people with chemical weapons is any worse than killing them with a mortar or a bullet. I don't understand that. Killing is killing. And the president's deciding what to do. There's a lot of folks on the right who are saying, you're doing too slow. We should have already been in there. You're not doing your job. You're leading from behind. There's also on the conservative side saying we shouldn't do anything about it. This is a sticky situation because it does. Some have said, let them deal it with them. It's Syria. Let them fight their own battles and decide what needs to be done. We don't have any interest in this. Except it's bigger than just Syria. The terrorist groups, the ties between Syria and Iran, Syria being maybe even a puppet of Iran. The terrorist groups, Hezbollah and Hamas and others, have ties in Syria, which affects the neighbors there, Israel, as well as Saudi Arabia and other areas in the region. Then you've got the extension of that. Russia having dealings with Syria. We having dealings with Syria. And that this could spiral out of control and affect all kinds of people. Then there's the issue of, is there any direct threat to the U.S. nation or interests that would compel us to militarily get involved? I don't see a direct one. They're not attacking us. They're not even attacking our allies, although at one point the Syrian government lobbed some missiles over into Turkey. So some would say if there's no compelling U.S. threat to the U.S., we shouldn't get involved. But then you've got all the dead human beings, innocents, in that country. There are those who would say, we don't have the money. We're broke. We shouldn't get involved. And that argument is invalid to me. Because if something is right, you find the way. For example, I'm not saying these were right, but we were broke when we invaded Afghanistan. We were broke when we invaded Iraq. Somehow, that argument didn't come up then. And let's go beyond that. If someone attacked Britain right now, we're broke, but we would find a way to help. So the we're broke argument, I toss that one out the window. I don't want to see us in another war. I don't want to see us invading Syria. I don't know the answer. But this is one thing I do know. It is a convoluted mess with no really clear winner, no matter what we do. Do we step in and not let it spread? Could this conflict, could this civil war extend from there? At one point, like I said, they were lobbing missiles into Turkey, which could bring Turkey in and destabilize that, and further in the Middle East, and go beyond that. Do we get involved because of that? Do we say, you can't use chemical weapons, that's just wrong? Now I know some would say, what moral authority does the United States have? We sold chemical weapons to Saddam. We used a nuke on Japan. We could go down the list. The thing I'm trying to make people understand tonight is that this isn't a simple answer. And if you want to politicize this, blaming the president for getting involved in something we shouldn't, or blaming the president because he's not getting involved fast enough, or changing your positions. And this is what's very key to me, is there are some of you who supported President Bush invading Iraq because Saddam killed his own people. Why are you then saying we shouldn't invade Syria because Assad is killing his own people? Speaker Boehner sent a detailed letter to the president asking for details of what we were going to do if we used any kind of military force. What would be the strategy? I mean, it was finely detailed points. And I wish that had been something that had been offered to President Bush when he invaded Iraq, and Afghanistan for that matter. I wish that we were asking those questions about the authorization for the use of military force, which has been used to justify all kinds of things. It seems there's politics involved here. Folks, we're talking about the life and death of human beings in Syria, and the life and death of our own citizens, our own sons and daughters. And could this create World War III? There are people who are saying that if we do anything at all in Syria, Iran will attack Israel, Russia and China will come after us, we'll begin World War III. It's possible. This is a complex situation, and there is no easy, and in my opinion, no necessarily right answer. And what you and I need to be doing is to be thoughtful and thinking this through and talking to our elected leaders and giving thoughtful suggestions and taking the politics out of this. When your son or your daughter is in a plane or controlling a drone or on the ground, it's going to hit home. I personally don't think that we need to be militarily involved. I think it is a civil war, but we need to watch it not spread. But I don't have the answers. I had someone ask me the other day when I criticized a particular meme I saw, what do you think we should do, Eric? And the answer is, I don't know. We should pray. We should pray for wisdom for our leaders. And we should use wisdom in this matter. Syria, the Syrian conflict is not a simple thing. And we need to look at it honestly and all the tentacles it brings. and see if there's a solution that can be come up with. It may mean we don't get involved in all. It may mean we do a little bit. It may mean, who knows. But it is not a time for hyperbole. Not a time for finding a way to attack the president no matter what he does. Because he can't win no matter what he does in this. Thoughtful contemplation and looking at the complex picture. I know that this is not a video that says this is what we do, because there is none of that, I don't believe. All right, you can hear us. Our podcast is usually on Mondays, posted on Mondays at canIGetAWordIn.com. That's Another Voice with Eric and Friends. We also have a Facebook page at Another Voice with Eric and Friends. We want to hear from you. We'd love to see feedback on this. I'd like to hear what you have to say about this very issue. Leave comments in the comment space below. And if you're in the Greenville area, you might consider McLean Systems Incorporated to clean your carpets and area rugs. That's 864-801-9644 or carpetcleaninggreer.com. Until next time, get out there and make a difference.